All right, guys. Carmine Danisco here, UAA TV. We got another episode going on. We got some good guests happening, right, Chris? I got my man, Chris Guerrero. What's going on?
Yes, we're going to continue. So we've got this series that we're going to continue doing on licensing on a regular basis with David Federer and Amy Jo Wagner of Invent Tribe, which, these guys have been doing it for a long time. They really know the process. They know how to save you money, and they know how to make the value of what you're doing pay off in the end. That's the most important thing. So we're going to continue to bring small clips and segments, and we're going to do some larger shows. But again, free, all free educational information. So let's bring on David and Amy Jo. Welcome back, guys.
Thank you.
So we're going to start with this segment. We talked a little bit about how to start the process of licensing and where to spend your hard-earned cash early on and make sure it's done right. Then once you have that under control, what's next? Like, how do I license my product? What companies do I call? Who do I reach out to? What is the process in licensing? So you guys, it's all you. You guys been doing this for a long time. You've been making a living out of it and helping so many inventors. And that's what we want to do. We want to give back to the community.
Amy Jo, you want to take it? Yeah, we have a lot of fun doing it. David, do you want to start off with that?
Yeah, sure. I'll tell everybody right now, the reaching out to companies is usually this step in the process that inventors absolutely hate, because when you do your own research, nobody can tell you your idea is terrible. When you build your own prototype, nobody can tell you your idea is not going to work. When you go to file a patent, nobody's going to say it's bad. But when you call a company and pitch them your product, they can come back to you and say your baby's ugly. And that's what
yeah, your friends aren't going to tell you that, right?
No, they're not. Friends and family are there to root you on and be your cheerleader. But when you actually step into the marketplace, so inventors have, and they know this, right? In the back of their mind, they're like, this is the step in which it either becomes real or gets poo-pooed in the marketplace, right? It gets shot down. And so inventors, they create this avoidance to it, right? They're like, oh, well, I don't want to do it because of this reason. And then they'll go back and start re-prototyping. And then they'll, oh, I need to fix up my patent. And so there's this big avoidance, subconsciously, consciously, whatever it is, but everybody avoids this step because it does. It's that one step that separates the pack, right? If you get the yeses, then you have the opportunity to get a licensing deal.
Dave, let me ask you this. Not many, some people just don't like to talk, right? They don't like to be out in front of crowds or like to talk to buyers. Do you guys help with that? Because I know a lot of inventors that I work with that probably shouldn't talk to a buyer, right? Because they want to tell them the whole history and life story of their own situation, which buyers don't have limited time. You know how it is, especially when you're in front of a buyer like Walmart. You give you 30 minutes, you got 10 products. You get, you're the 2 or 3 minutes per product. You got to move. So that's something you guys help the inventor with, overcoming not having to do it. Do you guys talk to the companies as well?
Very much so. So on the coaching side, I had a student, this was a couple of years ago, but she was deathly afraid of talking to people, so much the fact that she wouldn't even talk to me. She would only text and email me. And so I finally worked up over a couple weeks that, we can talk over the phone. I'll be okay. I'm not going to bite you. And then when we got to this calling phase or reaching out to companies, it's a step-by-step, right? You learn a script, you understand the script, and then you practice it, right? And if you practice it enough, then it just becomes the way that you speak, right? It's comfortable. And so then we built up to calling one company. All right, get the nerves out of the way. And over that process, about 3-month process of working with her, it's call one company in one day, the next company 2 days. We built up to her calling 70 companies a day and pitching products. And so she went from couldn't even talk to me as her coach, which is a very safe space, to now she's a beast on the phone and licenses products. She actually just licensed a product yesterday at the pet show in Orlando. Wow. And so, we work with people in terms of coaching and help them through that process of building up confidence and showing them what to say. And then also we have a partnership program where we partner with inventors. And we actually do that for them.
Yeah, that's amazing. Okay. So who do I call? I got this great idea. Right now, I'm not afraid to call anybody. You've helped me get over that paradigm. Who do I call?
Yeah. So Chris, I mean, so like you had kind of mentioned, like, you know, when people get to this stage, like you had mentioned, you know, prior to when us jumping on this call, that it's like, you know, making phone calls are, and I agree with you, like they're so important, like because you get the information really quickly. You know, so a lot of people, like what David was saying, don't like to make phone calls. They'll send out emails all day long every day, and you can. Same thing with LinkedIn, you can, and that helps to support your progress. But making those phone calls is super important. But it's not as scary as you think. A lot of people think that you have to get on and you have to become all of a sudden this salesperson, and you don't. All you need to do is figure out if they accept outside ideas or not. Like you just call them and say, I have a new product idea. You know, does your company accept outside ideas? That's it. You
And
know,
everybody at home, write that down, because that's the
Yeah.
script that I teach all of my students to license products. Is
Yeah.
Call them up, say, do you license products? And they say yes or no, and whatever
and
it
then they'll
is.
point you in the right direction. But the ideal person that you would like to speak with when you do call companies would be the marketing department. And the reason why is because marketing, they can see outside the box. They can see the vision. And if you can get them on board, they can be your internal sales group. They also know what their marketing budget is for new products. Where if somebody tries to send you to product development, that's like flipping a coin, like tossing a coin. Like they're either going to love us or hate us because we're doing their job for them for free. You know, so sometimes they like us, sometimes they don't. They're free on the front end anyway. So you want to try to hit up marketing, but you can't really manage that. So like if they send you to legal, or they send you to product development, or they send you to accounting, which is strange. I don't know why they would do that, but it does happen sometimes. Those aren't really the people that you want to talk with. You want to try to speak with marketing.
Yeah. So how do they go about finding the company? So do they look for the company that fits their product the best, or they just start? I mean, do they go to a Google search? Do they go to catalogs? What, like where is that step take place?
So I like to kind of take a multifaceted approach, because when you're looking in like local retail stores, I'm here in Michigan. Well, locally, we have certain products and brands in our area that Carmine doesn't have down in Florida. And so like, if I were to look at the products here, I'd be limited in scope into what is available in terms of companies that I can pitch to. And so that's why I like to go in stores. Let's say I'm selling a hammer. I'm going to go to Home Depot. I'm going to find all the companies that sell hammers. And then I'm going to go to Lowe's, and then I'm going to go to Menards, because I want to find all the companies that sell these different things. But I'm not just going to look at hammer companies, because, and I know this is kind of a crude example of this, but like, let's say a company just sells screwdrivers and they want to get into hammers, but they don't want to have a Me Too product when they're stepping into hammers. Mm-hmm. And so you're not just going to be dead focused on hammers. You're going to be just a little bit wider, because it's all about distribution. Is that company selling into Home Depot, into the hand tool area? Then yes, you want to talk to them and pitch them your product. Because some of the products that I've licensed personally, like they were in wine and they needed a beer product to get over there. They were in restaurants and they needed something to get behind the bar. And so like they were on the fringe, but they wanted to get into a space and they didn't want to do it with a Me Too commoditized product where it's just a price race to the bottom. They wanted something that had innovation to it. And that's why they licensed products. And so get your hammer companies, but then get a little bit wider and find everybody around through in-store and also Google searching, specifically Google shopping.
Yeah, David, those are great examples. Honestly, I mean that's a really good view of looking at it. So you make sure you cover the whole broad. So now that I've got the company, I've got that person, maybe it's the marketing person on the phone. Like I got to sell, right? I need to sell, and I need to keep it short. I need to make sure they understand what I'm selling. I don't want to talk about everything that's going on in the world. I want to talk specifically, how are they doing? And here's how I can help you. Here's my product, right? So we'll close the show kind of on that segment, because that's the catch, right? That's the $1 million catch.
So when you're on the call, so first of all, if you're lucky enough to get them to spare 5 minutes for you,
exactly.
You want to make sure that these people don't care about where you grew up and like
Your
the whole
grandmother.
history behind you came up why you
Your
don't
time
do
is so precious, right?
Oh my goodness. Yes. And remember, experts do not like to hear about their industry. Like, don't try to teach an expert about their industry, right? So like, if you, let's say you're a cosmetologist and you're trying to explain why a teasing comb, you guys might not know this.
What? Look at these two guys.
Wait,
They're
wait a
here.
minute. I talked about like shaving Bix.
Bad example, but if you're trying to explain why a teasing comb is worth styling your hair, it's like, I already know this. It's been around for years and years and years, right? They don't want to know that. What you want to do is you want to establish, what I recommend my students is like 2 to 3 bullet points, set an agenda prior to every single call that you have. So that way you know what your takeaway, what your goal for your takeaway is going to be based off of where you're at in the conversation with them. And you're not bombarding them with a bunch of stuff in one conversation. It's a step-by-step thing. You want to build that relationship. Relationship is super important. And don't bank on closing the deal on your first call, because most likely it's not going to happen, right? Mm-hmm. So let's establish next steps, give them the information, answer their questions, be okay to answer their questions. Don't hold on to that baby bird too tight, like answer that, they need to know that information. And then have a couple of questions for yourself about what their timeline is, next steps, what that timeline looks like, who they're going to be speaking with. Do they think that this can be manufactured at the appropriate price point that you think that people are going to buy it for? Those types of things. And it's nice to talk with it and maybe a mentor to help you know when to ask the right types of questions on those types of calls.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, great. So we really showed a little bit about like what company, how to look for the innovation, how to sell your idea and keep it right. Keep it short. These guys are extremely busy. I mean, it's easy to be pleasant and really sell your idea. So those are critical. So we're going to close the show. We're going to be doing this on a weekly basis. We're going to have longer topics. We're going to get into contracts. We're going to talk all about licensing. And again, as a free educational resource to you. And then if you have something great, you can reach out to David and Amy Jo, and I'm sure they'll guide you in the right direction. What I like about this stuff, Carmine, is I continue to educate myself on a daily basis, working with all the experts in the industry. I know what I'm really good at and what I'm not. And when I'm not good at something, I have somebody help me. I'm not afraid to say it. I'm happy to do it because then I get more educated and I become more knowledgeable. Yeah. So I think that's all we want to do. Is help the community. So thanks, guys. Yeah. Really appreciate you coming on. Look forward to the hardware show and the next couple shows we have with you over the next several weeks.
Yeah, I agree. You guys are awesome. I totally agree. I think that, on my side, when I do manufacturing, I always recommend clients who even want to manufacture and kind of sell themselves to really look into licensing. And that's something that maybe we can talk about in another segment. Are people able to sell on their own and still license and different things like that? Because I think licensing is a great way to go and explore for most people. Most people don't have that knowledge, don't have that education, that technology. There's nothing wrong with not having that knowledge and to know you don't, but they also don't want to give themselves another job. They think that, because they create a product, they can just sell it online. But, licensing is a great way to go. It's a lot of work still, but it's a great way to go. So I'm awesomely happy to have, Amy Jo and David on here to really give some people some direction and make an educated decision on the way they should go with their product. Because we see some great products and a lot of products fail just because of lack of knowledge and experience. And that's why the UIA is here. So all you people listening, please go on out to UIA, become a member. Let us know what you think, how you feel, and subscribe to our show. Go on to UIA TV on our YouTube channel. You can go to the Launch Network and watch our show, and also the Launch Network podcast. Go ahead and subscribe. I thank you all for listening, and we'll catch you next time. UIA TV, you all take care.